Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Sandra and Lambo again because we have a very important message for you all today. In our last video, we talked about something super important and I really wanted to touch on it because 'tis the season. And what season is that? Tick season. And so I really wanted to chat with you guys about ticks because it's super important to make sure that we're following prevention tips and know what to do in case of a tick bite. So the next video will be a mango video, but Sleepy Lambo here is probably going to go take a nap while we chat about ticks. So when is tick season? If you live in a place where there are 4 seasons, tick season starts in spring and it continues into summer. But if you live in a place where it's warm all year round, like when we lived in Thailand, then it's tick season all year round. There is no on and off season. So realistically, wherever you live, you just need to be mindful of when the ticks are out and about, whether that's all the time or only in certain periods of the year. But we need to be mindful of them and be very careful because these pesky pests love dogs and they're gonna love you too. But we know that your dog's warm body and soft fur is a personal paradise for them. And if your dog gets a tick and they start feeding on your dog's blood, then it can cause a whole number of different health issues. So let's talk about ticks. So I'm going to share a few different methods for prevention and we actually follow all of these. So I'm sharing with you guys what we do and it's worked for us. I will admit though that I am very serious on this topic because Lambo has had ticks once before and it was about 2 to 3 months before we relocated from Thailand and it was just not fun. It sucked, it was scary, I was worried because as you might already know, ticks can cause a whole wide range of health issues and they have many diseases that they carry as well and can transmit to your dog. Now we did go to the vet right away after we removed them and we just acted really quickly and we got blood work done and the vet also put him on antibiotics just in case, and then once we relocated we followed up with blood work to make sure that everything was okay, and we also did a specific blood work test to make sure that he didn't have any tick-borne diseases and everything came back negative. So thank goodness, we are so grateful for that. But this is why I was like, this is a super important topic because you just never know. And anytime that a tick is found on your dog, there's a 50-50 chance that, you know, they could get a disease. And I did talk to our vet here about this and they told us that some tick-borne diseases can take years to get rid of. And sometimes they're really difficult to get rid of and sometimes they're not. So let's talk about tips and tricks to get rid of ticks. My number one recommendation when it comes to tick care for your dog is to use an oral prevention for ticks and fleas. They're these little tablets and some of them you give once a month, like NexGard, which is the one that Lambo was on for a long time. Now we've switched him over to another one. It's called Bravecto. So it's administered once every 3 months. And we used to have it on like a funny day. It was like the 20-something of every month. And once we had missed it, then we just decided to do it from the 1st of every month. That way we never forget. Now it's the 1st of the month every 3 months. There's also another one. I think it's called like Simparico or something like this. And I'm not sure how often that one's administered, but these are the top 3 that I see that are recommended by vets and I see online all of the time. So talk to your vet on which one is going to be the best one for your dog. And it also depends on their weight. So you don't just pick up any NexGard or any Bravecto. It actually depends on your dog's weight. So the boxes will indicate the weight to like from and to which weight the dog needs to be for this one. So make sure you know your dog's weight when picking out these tablets as well. And a really important thing with these is that you don't want to miss it. So if it's one that you give monthly and it's on the first of every month, make sure you give it on the first of every month, because missing it just by a few days can result in ticks coming along and biting your dog. Tick prevention medications are poisonous to insects, but they're not harmful to mammals, aka your dog. They absorb into the dog's bloodstream and then the tissue fluids just under their skin, where they're transferred to any biting ticks or fleas. So if a tick bites your dog, then they would become a dead tick. One benefit of oral options is that they prevent future infestations. There are also topical treatments that can be used, but we've never used these. I just prefer to stick with the oral one. I know that holistic vets might not be about these oral ones, but honestly, they have worked for us, and I just want to make sure that Lambo doesn't get ticks. And I try to make sure that overall he has a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet to kind of maybe like balance out. I know tons of dogs that take them and they live long, healthy lives. So the next one is a natural tick and flea repellent. And this one I love because it's natural. It uses some like essential oils and stuff. And you can feel comfortable that you're limiting some kind of toxicity in your dog's body. And they're pretty safe, although they don't always smell the greatest, and you might not want to be cuddling with your dog once you spray or use these, but they are supposed to help work. So I use this in conjunction with the oral tablets. So the one that we use is called Flea Hex, and I'll link it in the description below. It's by Dr. Tobias. It's 100% plant-based. This is basically chemical free. So I'm gonna let you know what the ingredients are. It's just water, apple cider vinegar, neem oil, some essential oil blend, and that's it. There's no colors, fragrances, or preservatives. So I do spray this on Lambo underneath his tummy and around his legs. So the bottom half of him before we go for a walk in the woods or in the forest, or if I know we're going on a adventure and I'm worried that there could be ticks or fleas in the area. So I use this as well. Now I also found two other ones that I'm going to share with you guys. One is called Wondercide, and it's said to be safe and effective. And I haven't tried this one, so I don't know, but I found them in case you can't get your hands on the Dr. Tobias one. The other one is called Vet's Best, and it's a flea and tick home spray treatment for dogs. And then they use some natural oils in there as well. So these natural sprays are based on some essential oils and things like that. So things that basically ticks and fleas don't like. Number 3. Why am I like this? So the third one is using a tick/flea shampoo. So I do have this shampoo, but I just ran out on one of our previous shower days. So I do have to get another bottle, but every other time that I wash Lambo, I use the tick shampoo, and they don't actually smell bad. Well, the one that we had didn't smell bad, and it's also a great preventative. So there are actually tons of these tick shampoos out there, so you can choose the one that's going to be best for you. You can talk to your vet about it or to your holistic vet. The one that we were using was one that we had from Thailand, so now I'm on the hunt to find a new one. Number 4 is an ultrasonic tick repeller. So it actually comes on like a little keychain. This is my little belt for walking Lambo. So I've got my the leash on here, I've got poop bags on here, and I've got this on here. Now it can attach to his harness or to the collar if you use one of those, but Lambo just doesn't like it because he starts walking like he's in space when this thing is like rubbing up against him. So I have it on me. It works, it's battery powered, and here there's a button. So I just turn on the button, and if you can see, that red light in there. So the keychain attaches onto you or the harness, and the ultrasonic signal from the device interferes with the reception of these stimuli by the ticks. So they can't basically hunt your dogs because its receptors are completely blocked. And the operating range for the one that we have is 1.5 meters. So it's a pretty good distance. And then I also feel safer because I feel like it's protecting me from ticks and also Lambo. I've bumped into other dog walkers that use them as well and have said that they are very effective and find that they work. So I'm using this also. So the next thing is, after your dog's been spending time in the woods or in bushy areas, you always want to check your dog for ticks. This is something you might want to even do as part of your daily routine. So I have a grooming kit here for Lambo. We like to use this comb over here and just go through all of his fur and check for ticks. So you want to feel for any bumps all over your dog and part the fur to check if there's any bumps that you do feel, and to get a better look through all of their fur and check all of their skin. So where do you want to make sure to check your dog for ticks? In and around the ears, around the tail and under the tail, around the eyelids and the lips, under the collar, under the front legs, between the back legs, and between the toes and their cute little toe beans. Now, these are the most common areas, but as I mentioned, you want to check your dog everywhere. Now, if you do find a tick, then it's very important to remove it right away. The less time they have to feed on your dog's blood, the better, and hopefully the less deeper their head will get into their skin. So you want to get one of those tools that are specifically designed for removing ticks. But if you don't have one of those, which can be probably purchased at your vet or even online, then you can just use a good old pair of tweezers. But you have to be very careful with how you're removing the tick, and you never want to remove the tick without its head. The head has to stay intact. The quicker you remove a tick, the less likely your dog will contract a secondary illness related to tick bites. It's best to also wear gloves when you remove the tick by the head. First, you want to grasp the head of the tick with a pair of flat or curved tweezers. They should be held as close to the skin of your dog as possible, and avoid squeezing the tick. Using steady but gentle pressure, you need to pull the head of the tick away from the skin without twisting. If you're unable to remove the tick, then you need to call your vet and get to them as soon as possible. But if you're able to remove the tick, after removing the tick, you need to clean the area with rubbing alcohol and put the insect's body inside a plastic bag and seal it so that they can't escape. You want to show this to your vet in case the dog starts showing any symptoms. That way they can identify what type of tick it was and what kind of disease it could have potentially transmitted to your dog. For fleas, look for them on areas of your dog where the coat is sparse or thin. Think about their belly, their inner sides, and their armpits. And last but not least, this will be the last tip that I leave for you guys today, is when you're walking in the woods or you're on a trail hiking, make sure that you are staying on a clear path or walk on the cleared trails. Refrain from walking into grassy patches or tall grasses, because that's where ticks love to hang out. You want to avoid going really deep in bushy areas, because many tick species use a strategy called questing, where they identify well-used paths and wait on the tips of grasses and shrubs for a host to pass by so that they can latch on. Now, your dog's immune health is also going to play a key factor role in case they ever get a tick or flea bite, because if they have strong immunity, it'll give them what their body needs to help fight off and prevent any infections. And apparently, the healthier your dog is, the less likely bugs want to bite them. So how can we ensure that our dogs have a great immunity and good health? Well, the first thing is going to be feeding your pets a whole food diet that is full of goodness and healthy nutrients that they're getting into their bodies on a daily basis. You want to help your dog's overall health by adding some superfoods. You can include some herbs in their diet. You can try a raw food diet or a home cooked diet, but make sure that you're not missing any vitamins or minerals or essential nutrients when doing so. So if you're gonna go raw or home cooked, then I do recommend talking with a holistic vet or a pet nutritionist who can design a meal plan specific to your dog, their weight, their breed, their health, and their needs. I also like to add some herbs to Lambo's meals once in a while. It gives him a little bit of flavor in there, but they also have health benefits like dill, parsley, and basil. I also like using turmeric for him once in a while, and I've actually written a blog on the benefits of turmeric for your dog, so I'm gonna link that in the description below as well. At first, a tick bite might actually be really hard to detect on your dog. That's why it's really important to check them, and if there is a disease that is passed on to your dog, sometimes it takes 7 to 21 days for symptoms to show up. Make sure if your dog has been bitten by a tick that you watch for changes in their behavior or appetite, and always do a visit to the vet as soon as you can. Do a check for their blood work and talk to your vet about what you need to do to make sure that they're gonna be okay. Let's talk about why ticks are so dangerous and why I feel so serious about this. Because ticks are responsible for transmitting many different diseases in dogs. Depending on where you live and the common tick species that is present will determine what kind of risk of disease there is, because there are over 15 different species of ticks, but there are 2 different kinds of ticks. There's soft ticks and there's hard ticks. So some of the most common tick-borne diseases that can be spread through a tick bite is Lyme disease, anemia, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, babesiosis, and leishmaniasis. I don't know if I said those right, but the spelling is right. So of course, all of these tick-borne diseases are dangerous in some way. They're dangerous for your dog, and if the tick starts to feed on you, it could be dangerous for you too. So it's very important to avoid ticks, and if you find them, remove them as soon as possible. Now, when Lambo had ticks, we gave him the oral medication right away. We removed them right away. We cleaned the area right away. It actually also happened on a Sunday, so the vet wasn't open until the next day, which we went to the vet immediately the next morning. And that day we were able to go to this pet pharmacy who had this topical oil that they put on the back of his neck. We also washed him with the tick shampoo. So we did everything that we possibly could as soon as we found the ticks. And fast action is going to be crucial to help avoiding the spread of any kind of disease or just them feasting on your dog. The 4 most common ticks that people find is the American dog tick or wood tick, the Lone Star tick, the deer tick, also known as a blackleg tick, and the 4th one is the brown dog tick. So that's it for today, guys. I hope that this was helpful for you and that you are able to avoid ticks and fleas in your life and in your dog's life. Make sure that you stay safe every season, no matter where you are. And I'm sending you all love and light on this beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video.